Ain't nothing peculiar about the way that I was raised, and my arm is on the way.
Alright, so I've been trying to think. I haven't talked in a while. I'm sorry. And I know some of y'all complained about my kind of like my new video styles and stuff, saying that like if you wanted to read the news or something, you read the news. But so I'm sorry about that. I'm just kind of experimenting and trying to get the information out there, and let y'all see the facts. You know, the facts that I find, and you know, because we think logically and rationally and with common sense. So when I pull up, like I'm gonna pull up with facts. I'm gonna pull up with, I mean, it's gonna be there, you know. So all right, about the plan. Step 2, and this is what I was having difficulty with, trying to figure out like how to present this video. And because it's just so much stuff, and just, I mean, it just goes so deep, like we've been saying, you know. And I just thought, you know, probably be a lot easier just to explain step 2 of the plan than it would be trying to gather stuff and put it all in a video. And that kind of gives us a chance to talk to, you know, and y'all can see my face or whatever. I mean, not that I care that y'all care about seeing my face, but here it is. Ta-da! But all right, step 2 of the plan. So we already got step 1 covered, about set the narrative. So he finds a hot wife that, what was it? Maybe one day I'll find a hot wife that loves Jesus, and I don't know, like does whatever you want her to do, or I don't know, whatever stupid stuff he said. Why he was married to Mica. My mount fell off because it's so hot around here, and I guess it melts the glue and it just falls, and my phone falls and everything falls down. But all right, so where was we at? All right, part 2, or step 2 of the plan. So I got my free ice cream because I had no points. Steps 2. We get all the people. We know he's got 700 plus people in the church. He's got connections from here, there, everywhere. I have found links to Robeson County, Wilmerton, Fair Bluff, Bear Bluff, and some other places. And we know he's got connections with big time people, attorneys, officers, lieutenants, captains, you name it, he knows them. So, doctors, nurses, anybody with power, like he got the connection. So that would be part of the step 2 of the plan, having all these connections. Also using your connections for not good but evil, and to keep your woman in line. And you got money to throw around because people just give it to you. And you got a church, so that means you get a bunch of tax deductions. Oh yeah, and other, what is it, televangelists or whatever, big time pastors and multi-billion-dollar pastors and stuff that know where the gators are at. I know where they're at too, JP. But mobsters, you name it, he knows it. And also too, another thing he would do was, like in a lot of those classes or groups or whatever he had, he would use stuff against people. So say you go to counseling and you're thinking it's a safe place, and you tell sorry, I'm looking at my other phone, I'm waiting on the water, but you tell your deepest, darkest secret, thinking, you know, you're safe to tell these things. I mean, you're in a church, it's supposed to be God, all about love, understanding, acceptance, and your pastor, which is big time, and knows all these people, records those conversations with your deepest, darkest secrets, and says, hey, if you don't do what I say, I'm gonna tell people your secret. Sound familiar, Puff Daddy? So then you got blackmail, and then you got hush money, and then you got people that, you know, have money and funds and all kinds of stuff going through this church. The church is just a front. JP's just a poster boy. Oh. Alright. This is why it's hard for me to do videos with me talking and stuff, because something's always going on. But we know money makes the world go round. So if you got money and power, and you live in a place like South Carolina, North Carolina, I mean any place really, I mean, pretty much get away with anything. Alright, I'm back finally. It ain't one thing, it's another, y'all. Ooh. Oh, them brakes are bad. Ooh. I need to start a New Back Brakes Foundation or something. Charity. But, alright, so we were talking about step 2 on the plan. So, we got all the people talked about, all the high ups, and then you also know that he had ownership in a bar, and no telling who he knows coming in and out that place, and especially with it being a tourist place. And let's just say, I mean, he's lived in Myrtle Beach or whatever place, South Carolina, that he's lived at forever and a day. Grew up there. So, I mean, I can imagine with his personality and the church, and I mean, the man knows a lot of people. So, and we know that, like, police departments are very shady, and we've already read and talked about, like, say, Robeson County and the reviews on working there about how the pay, which, I mean, police officers, I mean, they usually don't get paid a whole lot as it is, especially for their line of work. So, and I'm not like dissing cops or police or anything, or, you know, law enforcement, but I mean, you got your good and bad and everything, but it seems to be that Robeson County, if you're anything good, you know, loyal, and really care about the people, you're not going to last very long there. So that we already know. And also with the reviews, we've also learned that they have a lot of extra curricular activity things. What are those extracurricular activity things? We don't know. It could be anything. It could be busting people for drugs and then selling those drugs. We don't know. And I mean, and we already know that if you pass away or something happens to you, that, and especially if you're a woman, like, they're not gonna care. They're not gonna investigate. I mean, why would they do that? Why would they do a thorough investigation when they could just say, oh, it was self-inflicted and be done with it? I mean, but as far as step 2, it's just like, you know, knowing the people and having the connections, and everybody's intertwined, money in and out, and I'm talking not little money either. This is like big time money, big time people. And so everybody's, you know, looking out for everybody within that little mob group of people. And we know that JP is known for blackmail and collecting blackmail on people, especially people in his church, which is so sad. You know, it's so sad that you would go to church to like better yourself or be closer to God, and you know, you end up in this. I know JP hates it when people say it, but I don't care. But you know, you end up in this cult, you know, and then there is no turning back, because it's like a gang, you know, and it's, you know, blood in, blood out. I mean, if you know anything about gangs, you know that like whatever gang you're in, you just can't quit. Like, you cannot just say, okay, well, I'm done gang banging, so I'm gonna head out. No, you can't do that. No, it don't work that way. It's blood in, and you know, if you want out, it's blood out. That means, you know, you're gonna be unalived. So I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, and then you have all this money and all this power that is being protected, you know, and a lot of people, you know, they say, I mean, money makes the world go round. A lot of people, you know, I mean, that's how like the richer get richer, you know. Not saying all, but y'all get what I'm saying. But so it's like, okay, well, we got all this money coming in and out, you know, we ain't got to worry about no taxes because we got a church. Church is deductible or tax free or whatever. So I mean, you got a way to bring in the money, clean it, and oh, look at the little baby cows. So you got a way to bring the money in, you got a way to clean it, turn it around, and make a profit out of it. So, and you're getting free money because you got 700 plus people that are tithing every Sunday. So I mean, you're getting free money and not actually using it to help anybody. And then you're making money off you know, like the seminars or, you know, speech or whatever stuff he does, and you know, like selling the CDs, which I wonder if he still makes those. If he does, I would like a copy. JP, hook a girl up. I want to listen to one of your money plans or whatever it is you do, that you will sit there and pay somebody $20 just to sit there and watch it. You pay me $20, I'll watch it. No, I bump that. I don't want none of that dirty money. No. But and I mean, so pretty much that's your step 2. I mean, you got all this, you know, and he's the poster boy, so he's like, you know, well, I'm the pastor, so, you know, can't do no wrong, Mr. Innocent, you know, goody good, you know, like he's the person that people can look up to in the community and stuff, and, you know, everybody's rubbing elbows, and so, and then, you know, he gets married with Mica, and, you know, I mean, Mica starts waking up and is like, hey, you know, something here ain't right, you know. And Mica's like, you know, I want to do good. I want to help others. Like, I want to go the right way in life, you know. And she finally realizes that, you know, she might have been realized, but I mean, like, what do you do when you're in that situation? Everybody and anybody can say, well, what you shoulda, coulda, woulda done. But until you're in that situation, you don't know what you would do. And I know from growing up in a situation like that and being in a situation like that, you know, people think it's just so easy just to up and leave. But it's not. Because, you know, you up and leave or whatever, and I mean, like, you have nothing. So, I mean, you have to survive. You have to survive. And then, you know, and then you put in all these people that are helping JP and you know, like, ride or die for him, because that's, you know, where their money comes in and out. I mean, what do you do? I mean, she would try. She got involved in the legal system. The legal system failed her. She'd try to get away. She would get involuntary committed. I mean, there's a lot of abuse of power that's involved. And, you know, JP can say, well, I've never even heard of Lumberton State Park, or I've never even heard of Robeson County, or I've never heard of this. Yes, he has. Yes, he has. And I mean, I'm pretty sure he's been out there to that land before. I'm pretty sure of it. I mean, I'm not swearing to it, and I don't know it as a fact, but that's just my humble opinion, that I am pretty sure he has been out there before. And then I think when JP messed up, and when he messed up, it wasn't really like him per se messing up, but, you know, it's like, okay, you got your wife and she's trying to do the right thing, trying to do good, trying to actually help people get away from a bad situation, failed by law enforcement, failed by the legal system, failed by lawyers, any and everybody. And JP couldn't control her anymore because she was fed up. And everybody in JP's circle, the tight-knit part, you know, where everybody's like besties and stuff, you know, because I mean, it's like a pyramid almost, you know, like JP's at the top, he's the one, and then, you know, you have all like this, and it just goes out. It's just, you know, never ending. So, you know, his people are like, you know, his little group, they're like, hey, you need to put your girl in check. You need to put your girl in check. They try involuntary committing her, you know, setting her up, kidnapping her, torturing, I mean, all this stuff. Going to the court systems, turning everything around. I mean, he's rubbing elbows with judges, you know. He's like, hey, you know, I need you to do this or say this or, you know, whatever, and, you know, give him a little money. You know, I mean, it's called hush money for a reason. And I mean, that money talks. I mean, that's just common sense, you know. I mean, especially when you involve like bad people and desperate people, you know. I mean, money talks. And someone with a moral, or don't have a moral compass, I mean, so yeah. And they're like, you know, JP, you need to get your girl in check, you know, she's trying to tell on us, you know, she's trying to turn us in, you know, if she does that, we're all screwed. We're gonna lose all this money, all these assets, you know, everything that we have, our families. We're gonna be locked up. Everybody and their mama gonna be locked up, and they gonna lose everything. And I mean, you got people like, you know, JP's attorneys that, you know, they're married and they got kids and stuff. So I mean, they're looking out for them too. And they're like, you know, hey, you need to put your girl in check, because, you know, I ain't about to lose my happy little life or whatever. But I mean, you brought it on yourself though, because you was greedy. I mean, you can't keep just doing people crazy and dirty and think you're going to get away with it. Yeah, you might get away with it for a while, but the darkness will always come to light, and the truth will always come out. So that was the step 2. Like, JP, you need to get your girl. You need to get her. You better put her in check, get her in line. And when she wouldn't, you know, when he couldn't control her anymore because she wouldn't take all that medicine and stuff. Because, I mean, think about it. You're on people that do not have schizophrenia, bipolar, whatever diagnosis he wanted to label her with or whatever and tell everybody. Like, if you take those medications and you don't have those issues, them medications are going to screw your head up. And then especially if you come off of them real quick. And I know from personal experience, I was on, what was it? Effexor. I was on Effexor for a while. And I couldn't afford my medicine or something. And so I ended up having to come off of them cold turkey. I scared the living crap out of my husband. I mean, I was worse off coming off that medicine than I was when I had even first started it. And I ain't touched that stuff since. But this, you know, so I mean, it wouldn't be hard for JP to have her mimic those bipolar, those schizophrenic, those symptoms in order for him to create that narrative. Because, I mean, if he's being prescribed those things and then forcing her or putting it in her food or whatever, and then not doing it to where she's coming off of it cold turkey, yeah, she's gonna be nuts for a while until it's fully out of her system. So what he did, and especially since he can get his hands on those things, I mean, it's not out of reach. And that would be a way to start the narrative, control the narrative, and, you know, keep her under his thumb. So, because, I mean, and then I read, too, I read the whole 128 pages or whatever, the affidavit, and you know the judge has got to be getting paid. Because it just blows my mind that he could put all this stuff in and it be considered as evidence. No actual proof to back it up. I could go online and I could make out a paper saying that, hey, such and such got this and that and the other, and they were committed and this and that and the other. I mean, like you said, JP, anybody can make something up and put it in the affidavit. I mean, that's coming out your mouth. So, I mean, he's saying like we're conspiracy theorists and, you know, this and that and the other, and not think with logic. Well, I know logically that you can really mess somebody up with those medications, especially lithium and some of them other ones. I forget off the top of my head, but I know the lithium one. You know, you give that to someone that's not on it or not bipolar or whatever, and then you stop and you have them stop that quick, it's going to mess them up for a while. And also too, when you're on those medications and when you first start them medications, you have side effects. that can also alter your moods and the way you act and feel and stuff. Said that she would feel, what was it? Said she would feel lethargic, which, I mean, that too would also line up with some of the things that he was saying that was wrong with her. I'll be back. Hold on. Alright, so like I was saying, I mean, it wouldn't be hard to have someone mimic those symptoms, especially if they're not. It's like ADHD medicine. Like, if you have ADHD, the medicine calms you down. But if you don't have ADHD, the medicine speeds you up. And that's why that's a drug that, you know, people, it's compared to like meth almost, you know, because it speeds you up if you don't have it. So if she didn't have those, if she actually did not have those diagnoses, and JP was like putting that stuff in her food or drinks or, you know, whatever, or having her take them, because my thing is, it's like, okay, she was on all this medication and stuff, but the bottles, the evidence that JP provides are not the professional labels, or labels that a pharmacy would not do that. They will not double label something. That's not how it works. And it's very rare too that two people that are married and that close would have the same exact diagnosis as what he's claiming. I'm not saying it don't happen or it couldn't happen, but I mean, it's just very rare. And then also, I was also watching on Psych to Go that you can't have bipolar and schizophrenia. I'll have to find that video and link it or add it to this one. But yeah, step one, you make your narrative, you do what you have to do to control her, you know, and then she's oblivious to any and everything that's going on. But if she was that bad off, if she was that mentally unstable, how was she able to function? I mean, how was she able to function? How was she able to work? How was she able to make the children or the youth group or whatever thrive? And I mean, the only person that I have heard that has said anything about her mental illness is JP. And I don't even think I've heard Trisha Ross. Now, I did see a text message in the affidavit that Trisha Ross had made, but I mean, that don't mean crap. She could have been, JP might have quit putting that medicine in her drinks or food or whatever, and you know, she was acting crazy, because that's what that stuff does to you, especially if you come off cold turkey. So it really would not be hard to have her mimic all those symptoms. And then he talks about her in her videos and stuff on Facebook, about how you could see that she was delusional and hallucinating and, you know, talking so many words per minute. I mean, she talked normal. I mean, heck, I probably talked faster than she did. And she sang beautifully. That's the right word. So, step 2, keep keep your girl under control. And when you can't, you go to step 3, which we'll get to that. Alright, I don't want to sound like a broken record or nothing, but I mean, like I said, it wouldn't be hard to have her mimic those symptoms simply because he got prescribed those medications. That we do know. And we know that he's got mental issues. That we know. It's funny how JP seems to forget that he's actually got the criminal record. That he's the one that's actually has a record with doctors, with diagnoses and prescriptions that are prescribed to him. It seems like he just conveniently forgets and puts all this stuff on Mica, like, oh, Mica had this, and you know, Michael, sorry, when Michael, sorry, it's my youngest son's name, Michael, but and Mica had to take these things, and but there's no proof. There's no proof. Text messages do not prove nothing, JP. Not the text messages you put in the affidavit. They prove nothing. And I mean, didn't you somehow, some way get your record expunged so that way you could buy guns? Because you wasn't supposed to buy guns because you was a convicted felon? Didn't you, aren't you the one that had violent tendencies? Didn't you run over a woman not once, but twice and drug that poor lady? And you say there's no proof that, or you, what am I trying to say now? But that's step 2. Knowing all the people, having all the connections, finding a way to create and make that narrative seem true, which, I mean, in reality, it would not be hard to do. And I mean, anyone with common sense and logic, you know, knows that the earth is round and that you could make someone mimic those symptoms through medication. And if she's lethargic and, you know, on the medication, then it's a lot easier to manipulate somebody and convince them of things that are not true. And if you're under the influence of those medications or any kind of, you know, powerful drugs or substance, or even like getting drunk or whatever, I mean, I'm sure like someone's gotten blackout drunk before and didn't remember what happened the night before, you know. And so I mean, it would not be hard to manipulate and tell her these things. And I mean, of course she's gonna believe you, because it's like, okay, well, you're my husband, you're a pastor, you know, I'm supposed to love and trust you. And she don't remember because she's on these medications, and they probably, you know, do make you drowsy and, you know, knock you out. I mean, I don't see any videos of her on the ground going me, 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 me. But I see a JP on the ground, and I don't think that was pain meds. That was probably some other new medication they were trying him on that made him react that way. Because I know there's some antipsychotic medicines that will make you feel like you got ants crawling on you. So they were probably trying JP on some new medications to help calm his stupid self down. But Yep. Oh, and let's not forget too the connections with the mental hospital, and nurses and doctors and all these other people, judges. He knows, I mean, and whoever this judge is, which I'm gonna start looking into him, him, because that's just wild to me that you could just walk up into a court and in 3 minutes time they can diagnose you with all these things in a probate court, and the only people that can make her take her medicine was her family. But you are the one with all the power because you're the husband. Make that make sense, JP. The court and you could not force her to take her medicine or commit or whatever because she was not a danger to others and not a danger to herself. And the only people that could make her take her medication was her family. How does that work? When you, JP, were the one that had to, I mean, heck, they even gave you her body because you were the husband and had more rights than the family. And another thing, you don't know anything about Robeson County. So you mean to tell me that on the medical exam that they knew all of these things about Mica? About her being forced into the hospital, about every little detail about her that was on the mental illness side. They knew all that, but they didn't know that she was filing for divorce and just served you a couple days before, and that she had a restraining order against you, and that you were stalking and harassing and trying to get her hurt by putting tire inflator devices on her car. So they didn't know none of that, but they knew that she was hospitalized or forced into a hospital, took all these medications, that she was this, that, and the other, but she has no primary care physician. And why was it that only you could get her medicine? I mean, we see her on the ring cam coming from the gym working out and doing all these things, but she can't go to the pharmacy and pick up her own medicine? That don't make no sense, JP. So, when step 2 fails, you go to step 3. And that we will get into on the next video. Thank y'all. Bye.